this lesson, we will be further exploring the mobility of the upper body. Upper body largely has to do with the mobility of the shoulder girdle at this stage. Further, we'll be looking into more intricate patterns of the entire spine mobility and the multidimensional movement. But initially, opening the shoulder girdle is, well, it's crucial. We have already looked into patterns of stretching and purging, opening the connective lines throughout the arms through all these exercises in other lessons. That will help to start the process of opening all these areas of the arm mobility. In this lesson, we shall look at further patterns of connectivity and mobilization of the rotator cuff area in the shoulder, where the humerus bone connects to the acromion, scapula, and the clavicles. There is a whole sheath of tissues around there which tend to be fused due to, well, stress of life, everything hanging on our shoulders and all that. So there is a great deal of stagnation that can happen there. So we'll be looking at how to mobilize those areas and into a fundamental pattern of shoulder mobility and strength, as well as flexibility, which is hanging. That's why this fella is here. So let's start. To start with, we'll use our good old friend, which I hope you're already familiar by now with, elastic band. For this one, I want to wrap the band around something. I'll use this prop right here. And I want to come in such a way so that I am stretched. My hands are open sideways, directly parallel to the floor, and then step so that the elastic band is stretched. It's not slack. I don't want it slack. I want a bit of stretch, so there is a bit of pressure, a bit of weight bearing on the shoulders and the arms. So here I'm going to look into subtle mobility drills for the shoulders. So I'm going to rotate the arms in small circles forwards, whilst keeping them stretched, straight and open. So there is one straight line from one fist to another fist through the shoulders. I maintain this tension created by the stretch of the elastic band, and then I am rotating the arms, making small circles with the fists under that stretch. Now, we'll also apply the principles of connective tissue work, which we explored in another lesson before. So I will relax the entire shoulder girdle and the arms to such an extent that I only leave the bare minimum of tension there necessary to hold the arms out and do the circling. Then, having relaxed them fully, I will absorb the mind into the tissues. So do that and listen, and then turn. Slowly, small circles. This work with connective tissues inside the rotator cuff area requires very small range of motion. Deep relaxation of the superficial muscles, of the big muscles, deltoids, trapezius, rhomboids around that area, so that the internal stuff can be accessed. Quad is slow movements. Then I'm rotating the other way. Again, continuously I'm striving to release tissue as much as possible. And go deep inside. Continuously go deep inside with your attention, with your mind. Deep inside. After a while of doing that, or maybe quite quickly actually, you may start not noticing how there is this aching, bruising sensation that starts to arise around the shoulders. And as with all the previous work we have done, as long as it's not a piercing sharp pain, keep going. Aching is normal, tissue needs to adjust, adapt, and ultimately grow and develop around this area. The only way for tissue to grow and develop is under stress. So here we create a bare minimum of stress on those areas of rotator cuff and move them there, move, mobilize. Another pattern, I'm going to drop my arms, turn my fists so they're pointing down and the palm points backwards. Then I clasp the hand into the fist to hold the elastic band. Again, I create a little bit of torque by stepping a bit forward to create a bit of stretch on the elastic band and have some sort of pressure to work with, some weight. And same, here I'm going to make small circles. Small circles. Very, very subtle movement. Bring the mind inside my shoulders, inside my arms, and relax. So I maintain the structure of my body upright, and I release and relax all unnecessary tension, which is unneeded to keep me up. My arms are straight, fully straight from the shoulder to the elbow, not bent, straight. My shoulder is sat, not shrugged, fully sat, fully released. And so I keep rotating there. Many times. Again, there is no particular limit on this work. It's a preparatory restorative work. And the other way, circling in a different direction. Strive to absorb the mind into the body, continuously bringing it back again and again when it starts to drift away into the thoughts, feelings, features of the landscape, sounds, mental chatter, anything. Oh, I feel uncomfortable, whatever. Stay with the movement. After a while, already about here, I'm starting to feel the aching arises inside the joint. So that sort of pleasant, not suffering type of aching, which is bearable to the extent of being enjoyable. And after having done this, I will do the arms up. So I bring my arms all the way up, which you won't be able to see on the screen, but they're directly up. So arms directly up. Again, I will create a little bit of stretch with the stepping a bit forward to create traction through the elastic band. So my elbows are locked fully. Or maybe I'll stand like so you can hear, so you can see. Elbows locked, arms stretched. And again, I'm going to make small circles. So here for me, I'm hanging out in the horse stance. Also developing the structural strengths in the legs. You don't have to do this. You can just stay tall and straight. I'm simply trying to fit myself into the frame. Again, absorb the mind inside the shoulders and the arms. Release whatever needs to be released. And then simply mobilized. Also, try not to make circles randomly shaped. Try to make them round, very circular. And make sure you're tracing the entire circumference of both circles evenly, without jumping. In such a way, you will work deeper into the connective tissues of the rotator cuff area in the shoulders. Moses around. So here again, I'm not shrugging my shoulders, they're sat. And there's a direction. Listen inside. Work tissues deep inside. You can spend a fair amount of time doing this work. Just listening in, mobilizing, bringing in the mobility, aliveness, flow of blood, energy inside those areas of the shoulder. Human body thrives with movement. We need movement in order to maintain vitality. We are not designed by nature for sedentary lifestyle. So, in this way. So we have these three patterns here. Arms the sides, arms down by the sides, and arms all the way up. That's one pattern. Further, we shall look in another specific area of mobility for the rotator cuff. So, here I'm grabbing a thinner elastic band. And I'm going to start with my elbow up, shoulder fully open, like so. From the side, looks like this. My elbow points directly up, and my arm is stretched just like this in the elbow bend on the 90 degrees. So from here, I'm again stepping a bit forward, creating a little bit of stretch through the elastic band. Then I'm going to pull the arm forward and put my head through the loop of my elbow and the elastic band. And then pull out and down a bit. Then I'm going to reverse it back again, same way. Bring it out like so, in this position. So, and pull it a bit forward. And again, repeat all the way through. I sustain a torque, a tension through the elastic band and through the tissues of my body. They go over my head, back over my head, pull in here, over my head, pull down, over my head back, again pull down and forward. So follow my elbow, up, over the head, down, up, over the head, forward and down. I keep my torso stationary. The frame of the torso remains completely straight. I don't move it at all. All I move is the shoulder inside the shoulder socket. Particularly here, in this range, is something where the rotator cuff tends to slip. This is area of the strength and mobility very often undeveloped and hence unfamiliar and hence not injury proof in many people. So we work through it. Crucially, maintain a certain degree of tension through the elastic band, so your tissues have something to work with. I don't shrug my shoulder, it remains sat all the way through the movement. This type of work is not for developing or building strength. It's a prehab, preparatory, restorative, mobilizing work. Also, it, to a certain extent, educates nervous system how to, well, behave in this unfamiliar, usually not so commonly used patterns of mobility. It kind of allows you to lit up certain areas of the body which normally in daily life remain inaccessible. So I will change my arm, another arm. Again, I bring the arm out like so. My elbows pointing up. Forearm is flexed, parallel to the ground in the sky. To start with, step forward, create a bit of tension, which will open this line fully. Then your elbow back. Now, elbow forward, put my head through the hole, down, forward, elbow up, put my head through the hole, here, down and forward. So do it many times, continuously immersing the mind in the body, listening, mobilizing. After a while, start feeling certain aching and bruising around the tissue which you're mobilizing. Tissue gets engaged, breaks down a bit, then rebuilds. This is the process of transformation, development in a skillful way. Okay. Obviously, all the connective tissue work that you've been hopefully doing by now, such as the patterns the principles I've showed to you. You're supposed to explore the patterns on your own at your leisure. But anyhow, patterns like bringing your arms sideways from the up will also increase this connectivity, mobility in the shoulder girdle, which we want. Or from here, from the straight forward. Or from the front, opening, spreading the chest. Or from the top all the way down, and from the bottom all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, like so. Mobilizing, connecting those layers of soft tissue, fascia together. So that's some work to do to prepare for what you're going to do next, which is hanging. Now, to approach hanging, it's one story. It's a fundamental pattern for development. Once again, cannot stress it enough how vital it is. Majority of the issues people have with the shoulders, connective tissue of the shoulder girdle, and problems that arise there can arise. Have they developed this mobility and flexibility and strength throughout their upper body, which I am demonstrating you how to develop. Hanging is a vital part of it. So, how do we approach hanging? Well, first of all, find something to hang off from. A bar which you can fully grasp with your hands would be better at first, rather than some edge of whatever, of wall or a staircase or whatever. That's what I used to hang off and still do wherever I can. But to start with, find something grabbable. Yeah, and find something that is you don't have to like climb for it, so you can stand on the ground and actually put your hands on it. Yeah, so that you can, for hanging sake, you can simply then establish a grip. So thumb around the bar, then rest of the fingers clasp around the bar as well, and then you're just going to release your legs. Let the legs go. Let them stop, support your weight, and hold on to the bar. Gradually the weight is going to be supported by your arms and hands alone. And so do that. Release, 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 release completely your weight, until eventually there is no weight at all on your legs. They're simply just standing on the ground and you're hanging off the bar. So work on this first. If you can only hold yourself for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 seconds at first, that's good. Start with that. Build up more until you can hang further. So I establish the grip, then I release my knees, release my legs fully, allow my weight to be supported by the arms. With the shoulders, what I do here, this is called passive hang. I allow my shoulders to float up I don't try to keep them down, like I allow them to shrug. They're not dropped. So see, this area of mobility is shrugged, elevated, dropped, depressed. In the passive hang, we are in the elevated shoulder position. We are allowing the shoulder to be completely passive, or muscles which uphold the shoulders. So like so, do the passive hang, start with that first. Whatever time you can hold, stay with that first. Develop, for example, 30 seconds per 3 sets and work from there. And gradually increase the time. First, keep just your feet on the ground, touching the ground. Then, when you have got comfortable with it to a certain extent, your arms have opened to a degree where they can sustain this hang, then take your feet off the ground. So repeat the first step just the same. Release the body down fully until there is no weight on the legs. And then I will bend my knees and bring my legs together like so. Here I'm allowing the pelvis to release. So feel the heaviness of the pelvis and let it drop away from your head, like an anchor dropping down away from your upper body. Head and legs and the pelvis are that anchor heavy enough which allows the stretching, opening, strengthening of these tissues of the shoulders. Yeah. So hang in there for as long as you can do comfortably, whether it is 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. And build up from there. Develop it over time, over doing sets, maybe 3-4 reps of your hold, of hanging, and just hang. Just hang, allow the tissues to change and open, transform. When you have got comfortable at that, you can hold the passive hang for at least 30 seconds without excruciating discomfort. Then we're gonna do active hang. So active hang as opposed to passive, the shoulder's gonna be dropped, depressed, anatomically termed. So it's not here, it's there. How do we do that? Well, we start with passive hang. Drop into passive hang. And then I'm going to bring myself up, such that my shoulders are now depressed. If here they were elevated, I pull myself up, and they're now depressed. So essentially what the motion that I do is that. Yeah. Only as I hang, it brings my whole body down, or up. Brings my entire body up. So from here, pull up, and that brings me up. So once again, from the hanging, passive. First start with passive, and then bring yourself up. And hold yourself there. Same as the pelvis, you want to release the pelvis, drop the pelvis away from the head. And I keep myself there via muscular effort. I don't allow myself to drop into the passive hang. Stay here in the active hang. So, after staying there for some time, again, do a few sets. Get used to it. It will open your entire tissue sheath of from the arms all the way up to the shoulders, through to the body. It will help your spine as well a great deal, because spine thrives from this extension. You got to allow every so often spine to open. The easiest and the most direct way to do it is hanging. You drop the pelvis just like I explained, and under the weight of the pelvis spine stretches, spaces between the vertebrae increase, which will give the discs that, well, respite from holding your body weight, which again enable your spine to be more mobile, open, compression free. Now, when you have done passive hanging, then active hanging, next step is transitioning from active hanging to passive hanging. So we start as before in passive hang, and now I'm going to do this motion for repetition, transitioning from passive, fully releasing shoulders, into active, bringing shoulders up. I mean down in this case, bringing the body up. And so I do this many times. This again will help to stretch, mobilize, and strengthen that rotator cuff area, as well as all the adjacent muscles around the shoulder girdle. Mobilize and release this area. Ten, 15, 20 reps per time, per set, up to you. Gauge for yourself, listen to your body, determine how much it can do, enter in that healthy level of stress which doesn't break you down, yet allows the tissues to transform, to change. So work on these. Shoulder mobility drills as demonstrated with the elastic band, connective tissues work, and hanging passive, active, and transitioning from passive to active. That will boost up, juice up your shoulders and arms. Thank you.